Hi, everyone. Now we'll be presenting ARC, Offchain Transaction Batching in Bitcoin. This is a joint work together with my co-authors Pim, Matteo, Marco, Andrew, and Zeta. So what is ARC? ARC is a new Bitcoin Layer 2 protocol. First of all, what are Layer 2 protocols? They are protocols that are built on top of Layer 1 protocols, that is the base blockchain. And their main goal is to increase the scalability of the underlying protocol, while also inheriting as much of the safety and security guarantees of the underlying protocol as possible. So Bitcoin, these protocols are of utmost importance for Bitcoin because of its very limited transaction throughput, which is largely constrained by its consensus mechanism. And this does not allow Bitcoin to be a payment system for potentially millions or even billions of users, or to host interesting applications such as DeFi and other cool stuff. So why do we need a new Bitcoin Layer 2 protocol? Why are the existing protocols not sufficient? So the thing is that most Layer 2 systems that are deployed today either make coordination expensive for users, or they sacrifice they add a lot of trust assumptions that are extra, and we don't really like that. So ARC tries to, for example, the Lightning system, the Lightning network, which is a payment channel network, which is the most prominent solution that is deployed for many, many years now, requires the parties to lock the funds up front by funding their payment channels on-chain. It requires them to route their payments by finding peers along a path when there is no direct channel between a recipient and a sender. It also forces the parties to rebalance the liquidity when the channels are depleted in one direction of the money flow. And this all requires a lot of coordination. So ARC tries to address this gap by making it easier for receivers, or generally all the parties, to transact, and it also allows them to exit the protocol whenever they want without requiring the permission of another party. So let's see a little bit more, still informally. For more details, you can check the paper, but let's see how ARC positions itself in this Layer 2 landscape. We're going to compare ARC with these four protocols, the four mainly deployed protocols, across these four dimensions. So first of all, ARC is completely Bitcoin compatible. It's natively Bitcoin compatible, whereas rollups are traditionally not Bitcoin compatible, although there have been some new designs using BitVM that achieve this property. ARC also allows the users to exit the protocol whenever they want, without any authorization, while sidechains that operate with a quorum of validators require this quorum to authorize an exit. Thirdly, in ARC, a user can receive a payment without interacting with the Layer 1 chain at all, while in payment channel networks such as Lightning, parties need to fund their channels on-chain, and in rollups, any payment is only authorized or only made possible once the sequencer of the rollup has posted the chain commitment on-chain. Finally, regarding trust assumptions for the safety, especially focused on the safety property, not on the liveness side, ARC, in the base case, without considering the fast finality extension, let's say, is trustless. The operator is trustless, but for the fast finality sub-protocol, we only want the protocol, we require that the operator is a rational agent, that is that he basically does not want to lose money. While sidechains have stronger trust assumptions for safety, they require an honest either majority or supermajority of validators, depending on what consensus protocol the sidechain runs. And state chains require their operator to be honest for the funds to be secure. So let's see now the overview of the protocol, the life cycle of an ARC instance. So let's say Alice wants to join the ARC, join an ARC. So she finds her favorite operator that she likes, and she requests to board the ARC. So what she does, essentially, she runs this boarding protocol where she essentially atomically swaps her UTXO, her Bitcoin money, for an equivalent amount of VTXO minus the fees, where the VTXO is essentially a UTXO. It's a syntactically valid UTXO, but the purpose of it is to remain off-chain under normal operation. So she receives this VTXO, which is funded by the operator via an on-chain commitment, and now she has the VTXO. So now she can transact with anyone she wants. Bob, let's say Bob. Bob can be part of the same ARC, or he can be part of another ARC under some other operator, or he can be not part of any ARC. So, OK, Bob receives this ARC transaction, which is completely off-chain, and now he's the holder of a new VTXO. And we will see that in a bit, that under the base protocol, Bob wants to secure this VTXO by batch swapping it into a new, under a new commitment transaction by the operator. Or exit the ARC completely collaboratively with the operator in the next batch. At any point, either Alice, after receiving her VTXO, or Bob, after receiving his own VTXO from the payment of Alice, can abandon the ship and exit unilaterally without the permission of the operator. So what is this VTXO? It is a syntactically valid UTXO that remains entirely off-chain under the normal operation of the protocol, but it can be materialized into an on-chain UTXO whenever this is needed. So the VTXO has two spending paths. It has either it can be spent in collaboration with the operator. Alice is the holder, so she spends it in collaboration with the operator to perform an ARC transaction, which creates a new VTXO. Or Alice can post it on-chain and materialize it into a UTXO after a relative delay. So, OK, a VTXO is a nice building block, but it doesn't offer too much on its own. The whole point of ARC is how to batch a lot of these VTXOs together into a succinct on-chain commitment that has minimal on-chain footprint. So how this is done is that the operator gathers the requests of either the new users that want to board the ARC for the first time, or users that are now batch swapping that are swapping their old VTXOs for new ones. So the operator gathers all these requests and creates the new VTXOs and constructs them in a way that, in a tree structure. So in a tree structure where the leaves are the individual VTXOs of each user. What this allows is that the single on-chain commitment has a batch output, has an output, which allows any user, for example, Alice, to access her VTXO in a logarithmic number of transactions on-chain. So Alice here, for example, posts the root of the VTXO tree, the intermediary node, and then reaches her VTXO in 3 transactions. This is very nice, but the natural question is how is this tree structure enforced on-chain in the absence of covenants, which would simplify the design very much, but I don't know if they will ever be integrated into Bitcoin. So we use covenant emulation via pre-signing, where each user, together with the operator, participates in the pre-signing process of the transactions that are in the path from the root to its VTXO. So for example, here Alice participates in the signing process of the blue transactions. There is a problem that remains. The operator's collateral is locked forever if the users never want to exit. So this is not really nice for the operator. So there is also what ARC does is that its batch has an expiration date after which the operator can sweep the entire total value of the VTXOs. So this is one reason why parties are incentivized to get rid of their old VTXOs and get new, fresh ones. But there is also a second reason why this is the case. So imagine Alice pays Bob via an ARC transaction. Bob receives a new VTXO. But this VTXO is actually vulnerable for two reasons. First of all, Alice can try to unilaterally exit her old VTXO, which means that Bob needs to constantly monitor the Bitcoin chain in order to stop her from doing so. Also, Alice can potentially collude with a malicious operator and double spend this VTXO by signing a conflicting ARC transaction. This is not really nice for Bob. So what Bob does in this case is he gets rid of this vulnerable VTXO by atomically swapping it with a new safe VTXO in a new batch. How is this atomic operation done on Bitcoin? Bob collaborates with the operator, and he signs a forfeit transaction, which is signed in a way that it requires two inputs to be valid. And the second input of this forfeit transaction is actually a connector output from the fresh batch, which already has his new safe VTXO as an output. So Bob only essentially forfeits his old VTXO once he has received the new one on-chain. Off-chain, but it's backed by an on-chain commitment. So this is nice for Bob because he no longer has to monitor the chain for any behavior that Alice might do, as his old VTXO is now in the responsibility of the operators. It's because it's now the operator's money that is at stake by Alice's misbehavior. So Bob now has a safe VTXO that he can freely use. So this is also a bit cumbersome for users because they have to essentially wait for a new batch update, for a new on-chain commitment to be finalized on-chain to be valid. For the transaction to be finalized, they need to wait for the on-chain commitment to be finalized on the Bitcoin ledger, which might take minutes or even hours. So towards this, we propose a fast finality sub-protocol, which is completely optional for users, meaning that users can choose to completely ignore this part and continue as usual. But this protocol operates under the extra assumption that the operator is a rational agent and that he does not want to lose money. So how does this fast finality work? The users that want to join this sub-protocol form a permission committee, and they contact the operator. And they set up the following contract. The operator locks collateral, at least equal to the total value of the VTXO owned by the people in this committee. And he sets up this contract in a way that if the contract is presented with evidence of the operator's double signing, the operator's collateral is slashed. And because this, to the best of our knowledge, is not natively implementable in Bitcoin script, towards this we use a BitVM instance. So how does it work? Let's assume that the user 1 has received an ARC transaction and user 4 has received a conflicting ARC transaction. Once receiving the transaction, the user broadcasts it to the rest of the fast finality permission set and waits to delta for conflicts, where delta is the synchrony bound of the network. This gives, here in the example, enough time for user 4 to detect that there has been equivocation by the operator, and he uses this evidence as a proof of misbehavior of the operator and slashes his collateral on-chain. And the argument here is that the operator is discouraged from double signing because he does not want to lose money. So we performed a security analysis on ARC. We proved the following properties of VTXO security, which has a safety aspect that only the honest holder of a VTXO can ever materialize into a UTXO on-chain, can never spend it. And it has a liveness side where the honest holders will be able to redeem their VTXO before the batch expires. We also proved ARC atomicity, meaning that the operations that are involved are atomic, meaning that either all inputs are consumed and all the outputs are created, or nothing happens. And these properties allow us to prove the following high-level properties of user balance security, meaning that the users are protected from a malicious operator or from other malicious users. Operator balance security, which is the equivalent property for the operator against malicious users. And under the extra assumption that the operator is rational, we also prove the fast finality balance security, meaning that these properties also hold under this extra assumption. During the process of this security analysis, we also identified and fixed 2 attacks, which are also implemented now. The fixes are implemented now on the mainnet as well. We also evaluated the on-chain and off-chain footprint of the protocol. So regarding the on-chain costs, the commitment transaction is constant, regardless of the users involved in the batch, and it's very efficient at 197 virtual bytes, while also the unilateral exit footprint, which grows logarithmically because it's a tree, the cost also remains practical even at hundreds of users. So yes. Regarding the off-chain costs, the commitment construction grows roughly linear with the number of users, but this cost is also quite practical and remains in a few seconds, even for 200 users. It's 2.7 seconds. Okay, thank you.
There was a short talk. We have time for questions.
So a couple of questions there. So when you have AI agents that might be making some transactions, and if they are genuine agents which are trying to make transactions, and how do you broadcast those and store it in the FF, the fast finality? Because there could be some malicious agents as well and genuine agents which might be trying to make the transaction and store that record on chain. So how do you differentiate that from a security analysis perspective? Have you thought about that?
Sorry, I didn't really hear your question. Can you repeat it, please?
Like you said about the human users, the honest human users who might be doing some transactions and that are going via ARC, right? And the record is getting broadcasted to the fast finality check. This is fine with human users, but what about AI agents? AI agents, you might have some genuine AI agents that might be making some transactions, and you might have some malicious AI agents also trying to make some transactions. So from a security analysis perspective, how do you differentiate these two? Are you doing any check or anything of that sort, or have you thought about that?
As far as I understood, you're asking here.
Yes.
So the one that broadcasts the ARC transaction is the receiver, like any receiver that already belongs in the fast finality set?
Yeah. Broadcast ARC transaction to FF set. Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is from human users, this is fine, but from AI agents, are you doing any analysis, or have you thought about the problem?
We haven't thought. This is a nice, interesting point. We haven't thought about it, but
okay.
I don't.
Like here, you're discouraging the operator from doing double signing, right?
Yes, yes.
But I think there could be additional actions the operator might have to take. But anyways, I'll discuss with you and give you some background context.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Actually, I also have a quick question. So does this protocol actually entirely get rid of the requirement of users to be online to challenge that's there in Lightning, or?
I mean, the users need to be online at least every batch expiry to refresh their VTXOs. And after batch swapping, essentially, there is no need to be online. Before that, you need to be online in case someone tries to, as Alice could try to exit her old VTXO that she has already spent to you. But after batch swapping, it's completely safe. You can go offline until the next, close to the next batch expiry.
So the user can come online on his own defined schedule
yes.
instead of being online always.
Yes.
The advantage. Okay, cool. Let's thank the speaker. Do you have the additional